Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakened and Aligned podcast. I am so excited to be here with you today. As you know, I'm very particular with who comes on the show and when we release the episodes because it really has to be a full body yes on every level. And more importantly, it has to be something I know that's going to bring you immense value and a lot of tools that you can use actionably right away in your life because I am so committed to helping you live a life that feels good and is aligned with your true self. And today's guest is actually one of my new favorite people. We met through a mutual friend. You know, my friend is Amy Lee McCree. And, you know, in this world of authoring and podcasting, you start meeting people, especially when it comes to people of like mind and heart. And George is here with us today, and he has this beautiful podcast that I was actually on called the Light Up Lightworker podcast. And this was a while ago. So when we connected, you know, you sometimes meet people and you just have this connection. It feels like a soul brother or soul sister, and you just feel like, you know what? We're vibing. This is good. And that's how I felt with George because he is a spiritual teacher. He's an intuitive healer, and he speaks the same language, which is the language of his heart. And he's here to help people really make a difference in their life by helping light workers specifically to follow their purpose. Light workers gotta work and be the guru are his best-selling books, and he has a brand new book out. And I remember he reached out to me when he was pitching this book, and the new book is called Protect Your Light. What's really special about this book is I had an opportunity to read an advanced copy. And while I was doing that, it was pretty special because I got to see in depth of what he's teaching even more. And of course, I was proud and happy to endorse George. George, welcome. How are you today?
Shannon, oh my goodness, thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. I feel the same about you. I love every time we chat, the conversation flows so easily. We have so much to share. And thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
It's so good to have you here, you know, because I do feel that a lot of the work you're doing right now is super, super important. And I want to start there because this new book is about protecting your light. And we're living in a time where there is a lot of negativity. And you actually talk in your book about we're living in a time where there's more negativity than there ever as has been, really, if you look at it in one way. And I want to just start by opening up what is energy protection and why is it so important?
Great question. So, the way that I define energy protection in Protect Your Light is that energy protection is the art of being energetically authentic. It's about ensuring that what's ours is ours, what's theirs is theirs. It's about establishing clear boundaries between us and the outside world so that we choose who to let into our energy and what kind of energy we allow into our lives, because as we are brought up in this world, we are brought up into different types of programming and conditioning about who we are supposed to be and how we're supposed to live our lives. And therefore we end up thinking other people's thoughts, feeling other people's emotions, behaving in ways that are not in alignment with who we really are. And therefore in Protect Your Light, I'm providing a toolkit, a 7-step formula that people can use to take back their lives, to clear out any thoughts, any energetic imprints, anything that's not theirs, so they can come in energetic authenticity with their soul's desires about who they are and how they're supposed to live their lives in the world.
Ooh, I have just felt like full body goosebumps as you say that because it resonates on a cellular level. And when you talk just now about the authenticity in the practice, would you say that the more you know yourself and the more authentic you become, the easier it is to protect yourself?
Actually, yes, it goes both ways. The more you clear your energy and therefore protect your energy from external energy attachments, the more authentic you come into who you really are, but also vice versa, because the healing work is multidimensional. It's not
Yeah.
just about doing the energy work or just about doing the cognitive work. It's
Mhm.
about doing the energy work, the cognitive work, the emotional work, the spiritual work, the physical work. And
Yeah.
as we approach healing from different dimensions and different perspectives, we clear out all this programming programming, we remove the layers of society's illusions about who we are supposed to be, and we start finding and allowing, rather, our authentic
Mm.
self to come to the surface more beautifully. Because essentially, we're born authentic. We're born in alignment between soul, heart, and mind. We're born knowing what our life purpose is. We're born knowing who we are and how we're supposed to serve in the world. However, early on, we start being taught who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to live, etc. So our work as light workers, as spiritual seekers in general, is not to find anything, but to remove the obstacles that prevent us from being who we really are. So
Yeah.
what I do in Protect Your Light, I provide an energetic perspective of doing
Yes.
just that.
Yeah, I remember as I was going through your book in the beginning, there was a lot of tools, and that's what I like. You have a lot of kind of meditations, actionable items, and you make it fun too. You have different ideas like the unicorn shower, and I'm all about that with Play with the World. But when it comes to light workers and light working, I know some people here at Play with the World. Can you just kind of explain what a light worker is?
Yes, a light worker is anyone who makes a conscious choice of making the world a better place by being in it. In my second book, Light Workers Gotta Work, I took this a step further by coining the term Ascension Light Workers. Ascension Light Workers, and I feel many people listening right now will resonate with this term. They are people who have been incarnating over and over again on this planet with the aim of making the world a better place, but their purpose goes beyond their personal well-being and goes into the well-being of the world. So these are people, Ascension Light Workers, who are here and from a very young age felt that they are supposed to create big change in the world. And therefore they don't just care about living comfortable, fulfilling, joyful life, but they also want to help create change in the software of the planet. They want to stop maintaining the status quo, and they want to upgrade the Earth's software in some way. So there are souls who have been doing this, they're mature souls who have been doing this for many lifetimes, and they come back over and over and over again for the purpose of continuing this work. And the reason Protect Your Light is especially important for Ascension light workers and all light workers in general is because our purpose is so important, because our purpose is global, and because we're here as a group to create this collective change. It's especially important for us to learn how to protect our energy so that our purpose is not hacked by other people's purposes,
Yeah.
so that our purpose is not hacked by all the programming and all the system and all the conditioning that we're being indoctrinated with every single day.
Absolutely. And as you say that, it really does make me think about my journey and your journey, and a lot of people in this spiritual space. There are times in our life where we just feel very isolated, or we feel like we don't belong, or we often hear the story from light workers that, there's this kind of movement through your life where it's almost like you're trying to fit in, and then we realize we're not here to fit in, we're here to help create change. And I want to kind of tap into that a little bit more, because I believe that a lot of people listening, I know in my own coaching practice and working with authors, there's this drive to get our message out and share, but then we feel like there's this process of, how do I activate the light within me if we're just starting to recognize that we are a light worker, is really the question.
Yes. Great question. So instead of trying to activate the light, you remove the obstacles that prevent the light from shining. And how do you do this? You do this with the inner work. And what I found with many light workers specifically is because we've had so many past lives in the past where we've been through experiences where we've been persecuted for being who we are, for being witches and wizards and owning our magic and sharing our light into the world. We have, I call it past life PTSD.
Yes,
Whereas
yes.
we feel like, oh my God, if I embrace my abilities in this lifetime, maybe I'll be persecuted again.
Yeah.
But we need to remember that we live in a freer world than it was in the past. We're free to be who we are supposed to be, who we were born to be, and we won't be persecuted for owning our magic. But it's easier said than done. We can understand this cognitively, but our body remembers all the past lives during which we experience all that. So what I teach in Protect Your Light is, rather than just clearing all the stuff that we pick up on a daily basis, energy we pick up from people and spaces, we can also go deeper and identify the energetic chords that we have to karmic curses and karmic trauma and karmic conditioning and ancestral conditioning, and identify all those obstacles and start removing them. Now, if you're just starting out, start start simple and then build up. Start by learning how to ground yourself, how to center yourself, because that's immediately gonna get you to turn on your light. Centering is about ensuring that all the different bodies that you have, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual bodies, your physical body, they're all in the same space. They're all within your physical body. So you are in control of your energy, and therefore you know what your light is, and you know who you are more authentically. When you ground yourself and leverage this power of the earth that knows who she is and she feels fierce and invincible, then it reminds you of your own fierceness and
Yes.
invincibility as well. And then you start turning on that light, and then step by step by step by step, you take more advanced steps towards clearing out all the impurities and finding out alignment with who you really are.
Yeah, it's so important too, because I think you said it best. It's not about trying to find, it's reveal and allow. And that allowing that light that we are, it is a sense of power. And I think sometimes we are trained to think power isn't we're afraid of that power. It's like the Marianne Williamson quote, right? Like you're so I feel like it's a deconditioning, it's an recognizing that we're living in this kind of construct, but then from that place you nailed it, it's kind of about these chords. And as I was going through your book again, I really resonated with the spot, because when I very first started to awaken to I'm here for a bigger purpose, I know I want to help humanity, I realized there was a lot of cords pulled, even with like ex-boyfriends, and cords pulled to the job that I just left. And I know, going through your book, can we talk about some of the toxic cords of attachment, such as like toxic friends, sexual partners? Let's get into that.
Oh my goodness, yes. So basically, any relationship we have an energetic relationship as well. So think of all the relationships you have, not just with people, but also with places, with objects, with beliefs, with past lives, with experiences in your life. Any relationship we have with either like beings or just inanimate objects, seemingly inanimate objects, or circumstances or time space sequences, we have energetic cords of attachment with. And literally, clairvoyantly, when you tune into that, you'll see an energetic cord extend from different parts of your body, usually your chakras, connecting you to different people and places and spaces. So when a relationship ends, let's take like physical relationships, for example. You are in a relationship with someone, that relationship ends. The reason it takes sometimes a long time for people to get over their exes is because, yes, the relationship ends physically, but the energetic connection is still there. So the other person can hack into your energy field. Whatever anger or resentment they're feeling is being passed on to you, vice versa, and that keeps you stuck into this vicious, toxic cycle of codependency and negativity that prevents you from moving on. So,
Mm.
what I teach in Protect Your Light, it's a psychic scanning process where you tune into your energy field, you identify all these cords going to past lives, to people, to friends, etc., and then you cut those cords. But it's not enough to just cut the cords. Another point that I make clear in the book is that the energy work is not all the work. As soon as you do the energy work, the universe will bring you opportunities to actualize this energy
Yes.
work. So you need to take, it's not as easy as just doing a meditation and cutting a cord, poof, I
That's what we
feel a
all think, right?
relationship. No.
Spiritual bypassing, right?
Spiritual bypass. You're trying to like do like some fancy meditation work with a unicorn and like I'm healed. Well, you've healed part of yourself, and then you need to actualize that with real life inner work, having conversations, going through your traumas, releasing them, dealing with your limiting beliefs. The universe brings up opportunities, so you have those conversations, take those action steps so you can eventually fully heal and release what's behind that.
Wow. It's so, would you say the universe brings you assignments? Is that how you kind of look at it?
100%. I feel that life is a
Yes.
blend of assignments. Like it's
Right.
assignment after an assignment after assignment. I've always believed that relationships are assignments.
Oh, yeah.
And a relation and an assignment can last a day, a night, a year, or your whole
Mhm.
lifetime.
Yeah. As you're talking about this, it's so interesting too, because I remember when I was kind of diving deeper into the chords, I visited a like kind of an Akashic Akashic record reader before, and it was after an ex-boyfriend. We had broken up, and it was so interesting because I still felt energetically. I was like angry, but I didn't know why because we weren't talking. And she tapped into the energy of that person's ex and the chords that that person, my ex, had. And I had never thought of it that way. And it was so profound. And then when I dove into your book, I was like, it makes so much sense. And so I started to do clearing with all of the past relationships to really, it's so important to do this work regularly, to show up for ourselves energetically. And I started to see a shift. I was started to attract more quality people in my dating life. So it's just, it's profound how this really, even though we can't see it, it's an energetic resonance. So just a
Yes,
testament to this. Yeah.
yes, and what you're talking about are group chords. So I talk in the book about
Mm,
group chords, and these are chords that connect two or more people. So in
mm,
your case, it was your ex and their ex, and then their
mm.
common friends. So let's say, for example, we cut a chord that we have to an ex, then we also have other chords connecting us to the friend groups that we had together, or to the digital pictures
Yeah.
that we have together on our phone.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's so much work that can be done to clear everything. And these days, whenever I want to heal something or relationship, or whenever I want to manifest something, all I do is chord. Is I use chords and I clear the chords, I activate the chords, I dive deep into the chords, and I find the little energetic filaments within the chords, and I make like psychic surgery within those chords to create
Mm,
change. It's powerful how deep we can go by working with energy, and we forget that. And like
absolutely.
a message that I wanted to share is that why don't we start with magic when something goes wrong in our lives? Instantly,
Mm.
whenever something goes wrong, we're like, oh, let's problem solve. What can I do? How about how can I change my energy? How about how what
Yeah.
magical practice can I use to create change? Why don't we start with magic?
Yeah. And I love that too. And I know sometimes I used to be a little bit woo-wooed about magic because I thought it was very dark and occulty and witchy. But that's, I have learned so much now that I'm in this space of it's the intentions you bring, and it's really about the light, and it's about everything is energy. And when we understand everything, like this microphone, my pen, like everything is consciousness as well. And when we really get into that, it's such a profound space to be because we start to, I find, and we're protecting ourselves. We start to balance more into life, and we're not energetically attaching to an outcome or trying to have expectations. Have you noticed that in your own practice where you really ground yourself and protect your light? How has it changed your life and who you were before you got into this to now?
Oh my God. Let me just take you 4 years ago that I was in London working a full time job, running my business part time. I was so disconnected from who I was. Yes, by that point, I had written my first book, Be the Guru, and I was running a spiritual business, but I had allowed the I had allowed my business to control me. I've
Yeah.
taken myself out of my business and I worked for my business. So I became a
Mhm.
victim of my own structures essentially. And that was a time where I allowed myself to be influenced by so much external negativity, by work, by people, by the underground, like public transportation, and allowing all that energy to overwhelm me because I was so busy. I didn't have the energy or the time, or I forgot to clear and properly protect myself. So I had gained, I remember, 15 kilos. I had a serious case of eczema and psoriasis on my body. I was mildly depressed, and I
Mhm.
hit rock bottom when I woke up one morning intending to go to work, but my body just refused to move. It just wouldn't move. And that's when I realized something needs to change. And fast
Mm.
forward 5 years later, right now, where I moved back to Cyprus, my home country, I rearranged my entire life so that it's balanced between masculine and feminine energy, and I have time to work on my spirituality, to cleanse my energy on a daily basis. And as I've been doing that consistently, day in and day out, for the past few years, my whole life has completely transformed. My eczema and psoriasis have cleared. I lost the extra weight that I had. And I mean, even physically, I'm inspired to take changes that allow me to be more of myself, such as dyeing my hair platinum blonde and getting two
Yes.
piercings, and just
I love it.
creating like physical changes that I never thought were possible because I was blocking myself with external expectations about how I was supposed to look like and
Yeah.
who I'm supposed to be like.
That's the key, blocking ourselves. And that was the journey that I was on. And I think everyone listening, we block ourselves because we try so hard to fit in. So as you're sharing this, it really comes back to allowing yourself to be who you are and not worrying about fitting in, because once you allow yourself to be who you are, I've seen that we fit in even more because the people of like heart can come. Like it brought us together. I love watching your videos where you're singing. It's just, and you're in your passion. And do you feel that that's true too? It's just the more we allow ourselves to be who we are, the less we need the world to accept us.
Yes, because essentially needing the world to accept us means there is a set of energetic attachments, external energetic attachments, that are
Exactly.
currently cluttering our energetic field. And without us knowing it, because we've lived with those energetic attachments for such a long period of time, they influence the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. And therefore,
Yes.
unless we are conscious about doing the work to identify what's in our energy field so that we can clear it, we don't know the degree to which we're being controlled. We
Yeah.
don't know
Ooh.
because we live with certain fears. We live with certain limiting beliefs and emotions for so long, we normalize them. They become part of who we are. Do
Yeah.
you know what I realized, Shannon? 2 years ago, my dad passed away from cancer. And it wasn't until he passed away that I realized that I was suppressing a huge part of myself. I was suppressing my gayness because my dad wouldn't accept that. So I'm like, I better not trigger him by changing my hair or by doing this or by doing that. And ever since he passed away and there was no longer someone to expect me to be something different, I
Mm,
started making huge changes about myself. So I didn't know that before that because
mm,
I had normalized that and I thought, oh, that's just who I am. But it
mm.
wasn't.
Yeah. It's so amazing too because through that your father passing, it sounds like the relationship allowed you to heal even more. And I see this happen sometimes when people cross over, the relationship transforms and it's a huge spiritual growth for all of us. So I'm proud of you
Yes.
for that.
And the
Yeah.
relationship with my dad has also improved because now he has no ego. Thankfully, it's my job to communicate with spirits.
Yeah,
So
right.
like, we're having the time of our lives now. I did my drag queen makeup right before this session, and he was loving it.
Oh, that just brings my heart so much joy for you both. Excuse me, I want to circle back because you did bring something that was really important and stuck out. You talked about when you were in that kind of rock bottom, your body physically couldn't move. This is really important because I feel that a lot of us it's like our body's always talking to us. I recently went through a health diagnosis as well, and I was ignoring my body's needs, and it got to a place where my body full on broke down, and I was bedridden for many, many, many days. And it was the most profound experience of my life because now I have such a great conditional love. It feels like I've been reborn because now my perspective on life, the way I'm showing up for my body, the way I'm relating to other people is transformed. And I wanted to know on your journey, when you had that breakdown, a lot of people are so in these moments of their life and they're resisting it. I hate that this is happening to me. I don't know why I'm in this situation. I don't know why. And that pain and pressure and negative, I think, and have learned is more detrimental than the actual situation because every situation happens to be, I have learned, something our soul has kind of signed up for to get us the maximum growth. So tell me more about how you see that.
Yes, so I think about that in terms of soul contracts a little bit. So, zooming out of the human experience to understand the soul's experience, to understand that our soul has chosen to be born at this space in time, at this time in our lives, with a certain people in our lives. We have certain soul contracts and therefore agreements with the people in our lives so that we can learn different lessons together. So, when we understand that it's not just about the law of attraction, there are more laws in the universe. For example,
Right.
the law of cause and effect, for example, that says that there is a cause that creates a different kind of effect, and sometimes the cause is our own vibrational frequency. Sometimes the cause is a promise and a contract we made before we were born. We still
Mm.
chose that, but our soul did, and we're forgetting right now. So when we zoom out and remember there's a bigger picture here, we get a better perspective of the situation, and we no longer drown ourselves in the
Mm.
minuscule details of what's happening and in the emotions. Of course, there are different tools we can take in the moment to
Mhm.
prevent ourselves from going through a breakdown. And sometimes it is going through a safe breakdown. Sometimes it's stepping away and meditating and doing all the different spiritual practices. But I feel that when I take this global perspective, okay, my soul is here, has had so many different lives before that, will have so many different lives in the future, has agreements with different souls and the people that I may be struggling with right now, I
Mm.
know that there is hope for improvement and change and growth.
That's it, right? The hope for the future that we are working to create. And so when you talk about it in that way, it almost feels like all of the light workers, to circle it back to that, we've all agreed to come here at a certain time to help, kind of move forward. But I want to just kind of start to close down our talk because I could talk to you forever. This is so brilliant and fun, but I want to kind of bring it back around to the light workers and protecting their light, and really what actionable advice would you kind of share with them to recognize that we are a collective team and we are working together, but also how to show up more fully in their own life?
Yes, so in Protect Your Light, I share a 7 step system to protecting our energy. I want to share the top 3 steps that everybody can take away right now and really put into practice. And step number 1 is identify. Identify has to do with tuning into our energetic field, and I teach in the book how you can do that. Actually, if you go to protectyourlightbook.com, when you get the book and enter your order number in the little sign up page that I have there, you get a free workshop, an hour-long workshop where I teach you how to turn on your psychic vision and scan your body. So that's step number 1, scanning your energy field and identify all the different energy attachments that are there: residual spatial energy, collective thought forms, energetic daggers, energy cords of attachment, all the different types of toxic energy attachments. And then you move into step number 2, which has to do with clearing and cleansing. And in Protect Your Light, I teach primarily earth-based practices to cleansing our energy because, as you know, I believe that the earth is the OG energy protector. She's been here for 4.5 billion years. She knows how to protect herself and clear impurities. And when we tune into that, we can leverage that to use practices such as using a sylph storm or having a unicorn shower or working with the dragons to cleanse our energy field, and working with even like Palo Santo and like different like earth-based material to cleanse ourselves. And
Yes.
then we move into step number 3, which is shielding. Shielding has to do with using different frequencies that either amplify our energy, repel energy, or transmute incoming energy. These are the 3 different types of shields that I teach in Protect Your Light: amplifying, transmuting, repelling shields. And when we use those frequencies around our energy field, we amplify our natural energetic defenses and we prevent energy from coming in, or repel energy from coming towards us, or amplify our energy so we don't come into contact with low level vibes.
Yeah. And that's really the key. I think that's really interesting and a special kind of place to really let us go off into our day and recognize, I want to close down, but I want to offer to you one step that we can offer listeners and viewers to really protect their energy today. Maybe just a practice or give them a tangible tool.
My most powerful tool to cleansing our energy is centering and grounding ourselves. And I talked a little bit in the beginning around that. So let's quickly do this right now. What you can do is visualize your heart as a magnet, and visualizing the different bodies, the different layers of your aura outside of your physical body. You have the etheric layer, the emotional layer, the mental layer, the astral layer, the etheric template layer, the celestial layer, and the etheric layer, the 7 layers of your aura that form the different parts of who you are. And visualizing your heart as a magnet, you can even tap a little bit on your chest and tap on your heart, and visualizing all these different layers being magnetized to the center of your chest. So you're drawing them in, you're calling in the different bodies, and you're allowing them to come into your body, sending out the signal to the universe that I am in control of my body. Nobody can get into my energy unless I give them explicit permission. And then visualize an energetic cord extend from your root chakra and go all the way down into the earth. Dig down through different layers of soil and rock and crystal caves. Pass through the threshold between the earth's crust and the magma. Go into the magma. Find the center of the earth and tie itself around the earth's core. And visualize any excess negative energy that your body cannot handle right now to flush out through this cord and into the earth. Let it be transmuted, while allowing the life force energy from the earth to rise up through the earth's core, through this cord, into your body, charging you up, raising your vibration, charging up your natural energetic defenses, and preventing any negative energy from coming to you and allowing the energy that you now have to attract to you people, circumstances, opportunities, and situations that help you live your best life and follow your purpose to create big positive change in the world. And so it is.
So it is. What a great place to close out. Thank you so much for being here, George. I'd love to hear where people can connect with you and stay in touch. And you also do private sessions, and is that right?
Yes, I do my psychic clearing sessions where I tune into your energy and identify everything and try to help you clear them. So you can check out my website for that, georgelizos.com. On Instagram, I am at George Lizos. And if you go to protectyourlightbook.com, when you get the book and enter your order number there, you'll also get the free psychic scanning online workshop too.
And I will put this all in the show notes. I want to thank you, everyone, for coming today. George, you are such a gift. I will close out with definitely grab this book. It's really a wonderful one to add into your library, and I endorsed it. And I'll close out with George is a gifted teacher and writer who empowers us to connect to our truest self so we can live the life we're made for. So I'm so happy we're friends on this journey, George. Congratulations to you and your new book. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Awakened and Aligned podcast today. If you're inspired and you enjoyed today's content, feel free to give it a like and subscribe and leave a comment. Feel free to share it with loved ones and spread the goodness all around. And if you haven't checked out my books, they're available online or your favorite bookstore. And my newest book, Return to You, is out now. Make sure to check it out. It's 11 spiritual lessons for unshakable inner peace.